from Douglas Field on the Lorain County Sports Network on YouTube. It is high school softball between the LC8, the Columbia Raiders. They take on the Firelands Falcons here today at South Amherst. How are everybody? Jared Vinecourt joined alongside Max Drummond. Max, this game originally started, but we didn't get a lot through. We got through a third of the inning in the top of the first before the rain came down really hard between these two teams. So this will be a continuation from a suspended game earlier, but excited to see this LCA conference matchup here today.
That's right. We know firsthand what that has been like this year, seeing Mother Nature kind of dictate what goes on. And it'll, since they didn't even get out of the first inning, we'll see if it has an impact of any kind. But I imagine it'll just be like starting a game fresh, and we'll get to see how both teams react to that.
Basically, we are going to be starting a game fresh. We are going to resume action from the rain that suspended the game earlier, as we stated. Columbia, they are up to bat with one out and a runner on second. Lexi Miller is at second base after getting hit by a pitch. And Grace Anderson is the batter, the number 3 hitter. She currently has a 2-1 count. And that's where we will start as we take a look at these two teams. Columbia, they come with a record of 12-6, 7-2 in the LC8. And Max, they got a huge playoff win yesterday against Brookfield.
Yeah, they were able to find a way to get that one done 4-2. And, once you get to the playoffs, it doesn't have to be pretty. You don't have to put up the most runs, just whatever you can do to get the job done. And honestly, I got to imagine it comes into this game with a lot more pressure off their shoulders because of it.
And head coach Jeff Lavender told us before the game, man, we were a little bit flat out there because we didn't play in a week before that game yesterday. So they were so thankful to play a game yesterday, come out with a victory, and they're so thankful to play a tough conference opponent in the Firelands Falcons here today, get some reps in before they play their next playoff game on Monday against Springfield.
Yeah, and doing so with the playoff game yesterday, playing again today, you get almost back into your regular season feel and in the momentum of playing a couple games, but still getting a day or two to rest, and that'll be especially crucial for the pitching.
As for the Firelands Falcons, they come with a record of 4-11, 3-6 in the LC8, fourth in the LC8 standings, and they've had a lot of games canceled this year as well, Max, due to Mother Nature. And Firelands, they lost last year in the first round of the playoffs to Salem. They had a 9-13 record, but they were 8-6 in the LC8. As for this season, the Fireland Falcons, they have lost 3 straight, and they actually lost to Columbia earlier this year, 9-1, and they drew the 22nd seed in Division 4, Region 16 in the Northeast 5 bracket, and they will take on the 15th seed Cleveland Bard Early College tomorrow at 5 o'clock in their playoff game, and this is a nice tune-up for the Falcons as well before they start their playoff run tomorrow.
Yeah, and you mentioned the tough stretch they've had of recent games. The best news out of it, if you want to find a silver lining, is that there are a lot of quality teams in that stretch there, and if you're going to have to go into the playoffs, play a team that's 11-5 and can score like Bard can, then this is the kind of the best preparation you can get. So it's been tough, like you said. They haven't been able to find a real groove week to week with the amount of games they've lost, and I think that comes through in some of the stats we're seeing from these players, but we'll get into that as the game goes on.
Firelands takes the field. Let's take a look at the starting 9 for Columbia. It's presented by Brian Baker for Lorain County Commissioner. It looks like this. Kenzie Shackleton led things off before the rain. She's the leadoff hitter. Lexi Miller at second base, batting second. Grace Anderson in the 3 spot. Jessica Jacobs bats 4th. Carly R. Curry in the 5th spot. Natalia Miller bats 6th. Honey Wilson, the designated player, bats 7th. Bella Airhuth bats 8th, and Ira Lavender will bat 9th. Let's take a look at the starting 9 defensively for Firelands.
As the pitcher slinging today will be Jeanette Crawford, wearing number 14. Then looking around the diamond, Lila Keithley at catcher. Then over to first base, we'll have Avery Klein for the Falcons. Over to second base, we'll find Marley Becker there. At shortstop, it'll be the leadoff hitter, Lexi Schrader. Then at third base, Kayla Aslaxon. Moving over to the outfield now, starting in left, we'll have Addison Cummings, Addison Beal in right field, and Carly Songer in center.
As we are set to get things underway, Brooke Miller, she is at second base running for Lexi Miller. We saw that happen when Columbia took on Keystone, when we had Columbia a couple weeks ago at their home field at Columbia Park. We're going to see the same thing here against the Firelands Falcons as Grace Anderson gets ready to step into the box. Today's temperature, 61 degrees. The umpires on the bases, Chris Sitto, and the home plate umpire, Kurt Hageridge.
They were kind enough to stop by and chat with us a little bit before the game getting underway, as their season's just about done too.
So we are set to continue action here at Douglas Field. The 2-1 to Anderson is inside, and we are underway here at Douglas Field.
And if you are going to pick up a game and have to restart in a sense the way you did, Anderson's the best to step up.
In there for a strike, full count for Grace Anderson. Anderson, 2 for her last 12 coming into today for the Raiders. She hits it on the ground to third. A Slackslin fires over to first and gets the second out of the inning. Moving over to third is Miller.
Yeah, and it's little things like that that, obviously you'd like to get it out of the infield there, but you now set up your team with a chance to have a runner score here in the early going.
That'll bring up the cleanup hitter, Jessica Jacobs. On the ground to short. Schrader has it and throws her out to end the inning. So Columbia cannot take advantage of the runner in scoring position to take the early lead. We'll head to the bottom of the half here on the Lorain County Sports Network on YouTube. Bottom of the first, no score between Columbia and Firelands. Let's take a look at the starting 9 for Firelands. It's brought to you by Brian Baker for Lorain County Commissioner. It looks like this. Lexi Schrader will lead it off. Carly Songer will bat second. Avery Klein in the 3 spot. Jeanette Crawford, the pitcher, will bat 4th. Addison Beal in the 5th spot. Addison Cummings will bat 6th. Kayla Aslaxon will bat 7th. Marley Becker will bat 8th, and then Lila Keithley will bat 9th. Let's take a look at the starting 9 defensively for Columbia.
As on the mound will be Alina Jones. We've seen her before here on the Lorain County Sports Network. Over doing the catching will be Lexi Miller. Then at first base, it's going to be Carly Okuri. At second, that's where we'll find Kenzie Shackleton. Check that. She'll be at shortstop. Designated player Honey Wilson. Bella Erhuth at right field. Second base, Ira Lavender. And continuing on at third base, Grace Anderson. And then out in the outfield, Natalia Miller, center field, as well as in left field, Jessica Jacobs.
Alina Jones, last time out against Firelands in that 9-1 victory. She pitched a complete game, gave up 3 hits, 1 run, it wasn't earned, walked 2, and struck out 11.
She's built nicely off of a great first season starting last year.
Lexi Schrader steps up to the plate. She takes ball 1. Lexi Schrader, the senior, plays volleyball and basketball for the Firelands Falcons. Takes high for ball 2. 2-0 the count on Schrader.
And you can't ask for much more out of a leadoff hitter than what she's given this season, hitting over 500 on the year and that on-base percentage even higher.
That's why she's in the leadoff spot for the Falcons. Fouled back. And this is a Firelands team, Max. They do pretty well offensively. They scored 65 runs as a team. That's an average of 4 per game. So they do pretty well in the batter's box.
So we see a strike right there. And, yeah, the one thing they've kind of lacked this year is power, but small ball, that's definitely their specialty.
The 2-2. Fouled out of play. And what's interesting about Douglas Field is we're near a development, so there's some neighbors could potentially just watch the game from their backyard. As we had a chance to talk with head coach Chad Parsons earlier, and he said that he's hopeful that the softball team will have a field at their school in the near future. On the ground is short. Shackleton fires and can't throw out the speedy Schrader. It's a leadoff single to start the bottom of the first for the Falcons.
And that at-bat got to showcase everything that Schrader does well out of that leadoff role, as we obviously see the speed right there, but also fighting off several pitches and keeping that at-bat alive.
That'll bring up Carly Songer. Songer, the senior, 1 for her last 8 at the plate as she takes a strike.
That'll be the interesting thing here with Alina Jones. I mean, how much did she show yesterday in her playoff game, and how much does she have in the tank today?
Back up the middle and through for a base hit. Firelands' first 2 reach here in the first. Back-to-back singles.
And even though, like we said, they lack some power, and that would come in handy in these kind of situations, they still, if they're smart with their base running, can easily work their way around the bases and find themselves in scoring position.
And this is the Firelands Falcons you want up at the plate. Avery Klein has 7 multi-hit games this season as she sends a fly ball to center. Camping under it and making the catch is Natalia Miller for out number 1.
And also a good job there setting up, being ready to throw after the catch. Now, granted, they're kind of looking away from the sun, but it is definitely, if you're in the wrong spot, it's going to be a tough fly ball.
So 1 down, that brings up Jeanette Crawford. The pitch to Crawford. Takes ball 1.
And I think Crawford may be one of the hitters that has been affected most this season by the lack of games. They've been able to get in 3 homers last year, but hasn't had the chance to hit one this year.
Firelands still in search of that first home run of the season as that goes to the backstop, and both players move up 90 feet.
And now you find yourself in a really ideal position here, and Crawford is batting cleanup for a reason. And like we said, even though no homers yet, still batting really well, 371 average coming into today.
The pitch to Crawford. Back up the middle for a base hit. Schrader scores. Songer stops at third. It's an RBI single for Jeanette Crawford, and Firelands takes the early 1-0 lead.
And getting out to a fast start, that's going to be key today, and also help them build a lot of confidence and momentum moving into tomorrow's playoff game as well.
So Firelands already with as many runs scored as last time against Columbia. As Crawford goes to second, she steals second uncontested. And the Falcons firing all cylinders here in the bottom of the first.
And it was only a matter of time, right? You could tell on the single she thought about extending it to second when the throw went home.
Addison Beal up to the plate, has 4 multi-hit games this season. The senior doing really well for the Falcons.
And I'm interested to see the response here from Alina Jones. We obviously got to see her face some adversity earlier in the year, but no, she's really capable.
Fly ball, first base side, but it goes foul.
And now we'll get to see how well how well Beal can continue to work a count here in the early portion of the ball game.
1-2 the count on Beal. The pitch from Jones. Back up the middle, the shortstop Shackleton goes to first, throws out Beal. Coming in to score is Songer, and the Falcons lead 2-0.
And that goes back to how crucial that stolen base was, Jared. That saves a run right there for Firelands.
Absolutely, Max. You're completely right. Crawford moves over to third on the fielder's choice. Falcons out to the early 2-0 lead. Addison Cummings up to the plate. She takes a strike, evens the count at 1-1. Addison Cummings looking for her first hit in quite some time, hitless in her last 3 games. Takes a strike.
And that's the thing with Jones. You know she's going to give you some hittable pitches. However, the way they're sped in there, it's obviously easier said than done.
The pitch from Jones. Fouled back.
She was a little bit out in front of that one, but right now you got to do whatever you can to protect the plate.
Firelands doing so well offensively here early in the first against Columbia. Firelands, they haven't played in a week, and they got shut out last week against Keystone. As Cummings strikes out, swings to end the inning, but the Falcons strike for 2 here in the first. They lead 2-0. We'll head to the second here on the Lorain County Sports Network live on YouTube. Top of the second, Firelands out to the early 2-0 lead. 5, 6, 7 due up for Columbia. Fly ball left field. Coming in and not able to make the play is Addison Cummings. And heading all the way to third is Carly Arcuri. And she'll be in standing at third base to lead off the second for Columbia.
Perfect way to start the inning for the Lady Raiders right there. And I'll tell you what, it looked like that was going to keep drifting foul. I know it threw me off.
Not much of a breeze here today at Douglas Field, but Cummings commits the error, and that's huge for the Raiders to start the second.
That'll be triple number 1 on the campaign for Arcuri.
Natalia Miller up to the plate. Swings and misses for strike 1.
Yeah, it looked like right there she's able to get her with the low pitch.
Natalia Miller batting .357 on the year. As she chops it to third, Alslaskin goes to first, but it goes off the glove of Klein. And heading all the way to second is Miller. So back-to-back errors committed by the Firelands Falcons, and Columbia scores their first run of the day.
Yeah, that's a tough break for the Lady Falcons. That's one. You know you probably won't be able to get the run at home, but you want to at least help your pitcher out, get the first out.
Honey Wilson takes a strike, the designated player here today for Columbia. Not a regular starter, just playing in her 13th game of the season out of 19. As she fouls it back, she's quickly in the hole 0-2.
And now this is where if you're Firelands and if you're pitcher Jeanette Crawford, you got to be aggressive here and make sure you go get this out.
Honey Wilson just 1 for 11 at the plate this season. As that goes to the backstop, moving over to third is Miller. And Columbia responding at will after Firelands scored 2 in the last inning, Max.
Yeah, we know they're capable of scoring in bunches, and a clear example right here.
High.
Ooh.
Good stop there by Keithley. And after a great first inning by Jeanette Crawford, just trying to find command once again. The pitch. Inside. 3-2 the count on Wilson.
As you can hear the dugout mentioning, good eyes so far from Wilson as she's been able to work this back to a full count after an 0-2 start.
The payoff pitch. Swung on and missed. Crawford gets her first strikeout of the day. 1 down in the second.
Now we'll see if they can build upon this here if you're Firelands.
Bella Airhuth up to the plate as she grounds it foul first base side.
That was awful close. It's tough to tell from our point of view. It was right along that base. May have just gone to the right before it reached first base.
Yeah, for those of you tuning in live on YouTube, we are behind the third base fence. That's our viewpoint here today at Douglas Field. Swing and a miss. Airhuth quickly in the hole, 0-2.
And obviously, we saw this kind of start last at bat for Crawford. We'll see if this one changes up a little bit, savor a few pitches.
The 0-2. Called strike 3. Back-to-back strikeouts for Jeanette Crawford. 2 down.
Because on the season, she's amassed over 50, and I think that's really impressive just for the amount of games they played.
Ira Lavender takes a first pitch strike. Lavender batting 176 on the season.
And as for reference, Crawford has pitched in around 44 innings this season, so that's well over a strikeout in an inning.
She's quickly in the hole, 0-2. Columbia already with 1 in, thanks to the back-to-back errors committed by the Firelands Falcons here in the inning. Outside, 1-2.
Well, and even with the ball right there, I've been really impressed with how she's been attacking the zone. I wonder if the catcher kind of made that emphasis after how the inning started.
She has found herself back in the circle here towards the late inning. Good stop there by Keithley. Evens the count at 2-2.
Remember, Columbia still have that runner on third, as you can see, is still try to tie this one back up.
The pitch. Called strike 3. 3 straight strikeouts to end the inning for Jeanette Crawford. But Columbia, they do get on the board. They score once here in the second. Firelands, they still lead 2-1. We'll head to the bottom of the second here on the Lorain County Sports Network live on YouTube. 2-1 our score as we head to the bottom of the second. Swing and missing for strike 1 is Kayla Aslaxon. Aslaxon this season batting .289. She's quickly in the hole, 0-2. Alina Jones coming into today in 91 and third innings of work, has done really well, has only given up 3 home runs, has struck out 114 batters.
And it's been impressive to see her build on what she did last year as maybe not as the ace, but this year has definitely taken on that role.
Bounced in there, evens the count at 2-2.
And we obviously saw in the previous innings, Firelands batters able to keep these at-bats alive even when down in the count.
The 2-2. High, 3-2 the count.
That definitely felt like one where Jones wanted to see if she could get her to reach out of the zone, but like you said, Slaxon holding up there.
Ripped foul.
Ooh. First base coach had to be on his toes right there. Oh, my goodness.
Always have to have your head on a swivel.
Yeah.
And the base umpire, Chris Sito, had to go get that foul ball.
Yeah. Finds that, and we'll reset. And this is huge to lead off the inning, as it really set the tone last time around for Firelands when they were able to get on base to open an inning.
Jeanette Crawford opened up the scoring with an RBI single. Slaxon strikes out, and that's the first out of the inning. Marley Becker will come to the plate. Becker, the freshman for the Falcons, shows bunt, but bunts it foul. Becker on the season, just 2 for 30 at the plate.
I think, for a freshman, it can be already tough enough to get your bearings at the varsity level, and then your season gets cut in half. That doesn't help.
And we talked with head coach Chad Parsons earlier. He says he has a lot of freshmen on his squad, good, solid freshmen on his squad that are going to make an impact for this Falcons team in their 4 years for Firelands.
Yeah, and they've got some real good upperclassmen to learn from, too.
And one of those freshmen is Marley Becker. She's going to learn a lot from those upperclassmen.
She now looks to defend the plate here.
She's out looking. Back-to-back strikeouts for Jones.
It's an at-bat like that. It's tough in the moment, but I think it go a long way. By the end of the season, you're able to look back at those and break them down and be able to build on them for sophomore year.
Lila Keithley up to the plate as she takes low for ball one. Keithley batting .387 on the season. Keithley with 4 doubles coming into today. And she takes low 2-0.
And another one of those freshmen that we were talking about, and having to handle the catching duties. That's a lot of responsibility for somebody in their first year at this level.
Absolutely. Swing and a miss. Keithley, she actually had a 4-hit game earlier this season against Wellington, and she's had 3 multi-hit games this season. As she rips it down the right field line, but it goes foul.
Yeah, it's a couple times here we've seen some Falcon hitters just a tad late on the pitch, but that's what going against Alina Jones will get you is these fastballs, they're moving.
The ace of this Columbia pitching staff. The pitch. Swan on and miss. Alina Jones strikes out the side in the second, and we are 2 through here at Douglas Field. Firelands leads 2-1. Our score as we head to the third here at Douglas Field. Firelands leads. Firelands, they started out firing on all cylinders offensively. 2 runs in the bottom of the first. It started with an RBI single by Jeanette Crawford, and then Addison Beal, she had an RBI ground out. Columbia, their only runs have come off of errors, and that was back in the second. As taking low and inside for ball one is Kenzie Shackleton. She's 0 for 1 on the day, but we don't know what she did her first time up because that was in the suspended part of the game earlier this year. But Shackleton, overall, this season has done really well for the Raiders, batting .436.
Not to mention how dangerous she is on the base paths.
She does have the most steals on the team. Coming into today, Shackleton with 18 stolen bases. She takes ball 4, and she is aboard to start the third for Columbia.
And that's obviously the perfect scenario right there is no matter how it happens, even if it's through an error or something, make sure she gets on base, and now you're going to have the catcher looking down to second base very often.
Lexi Miller gets hit again. She got hit in the first portion of the game before the rain came earlier in the year, and now here today as we continue the suspended game, she gets hit again. She is a ball magnet, Max.
Yeah, it's interesting how that happens. I mean, I wonder if she's shaking off the last one that happened just for it to happen again here at this field.
Brooke Miller will take her place at first And Columbia have their first 2 aboard here to start the third. Bounced in there, and heading to third is Shackleton. She's in there easily without a throw.
Yeah, and with how speedy she is, even if the catcher had been able to pick it straight up, that still would have been a close play at third.
Runners at the corners, nobody out for Columbia. Grace Anderson up to the plate. On the ground, the shortstop Schrader bobbles it, fires over to first, not in time. Going over to third, and the throw gets away, and it goes out of play by us. So 2 runs will score, and at second is Grace Anderson. I believe that's going to be an RBI infield single, and then another run will score off the throwing error.
Yeah, that's what I have it at as well. And, you know, there may have been a play at second. However, Brooke Miller was stealing as Anderson put the ball in play, so that eliminated any chance for a double play.
So the third error of the game for Firelands, and Columbia has taken advantage. And Grace Anderson, she's actually at third base because she was already at second when that throw went out of play. So she's at third, still nobody down. Jessica Jacobs up to the plate, grounded out her first time up.
Well, we saw her drive in a run the last time we covered Columbia when they took on Keystone. She actually got the scoring started on the board that day.
The pitch bounced in there. Columbia now with their first lead of the day. 3-2, the Raiders lead over the Falcons. The pitch inside. And Jeanette Crawford, not the ace of this pitching staff, Max. We could possibly see Avery Klein later in the game. Klein actually pitched against Columbia last time. Pitched 5 2/3 solid innings last time at Columbia Park. That one goes back foul.
Yeah, and Klein provides a little bit of a change-up from what they get from Crawford, and maybe attacks a little more out of the zone, sees if she can get batters to chase.
The pitch from Crawford. Called a strike. And Jacobs is at second. Believe that was catcher's interference on that last play. As an check swing goes foul against Carly Arcuri. So Jessica Jacobs is at second. I believe there was catcher's interference on that foul ball, Max.
Yeah, that's the only explanation I could think of. I mean, we did see that in our last time out in baseball last Saturday when we were at Firelands baseball, funny enough, taking on Rocky River.
So Grace Anderson at third, Jessica Jacobs at second. She didn't get hit by the pitch. When she swung that foul ball, I believe it hit the catcher's mitt of Lila Keithley. Still nobody out. Carly Arcuri reached on air and came around to score her last time up in the second.
As that was a strike 3 call there from the umpire, so we'll see her go down to strikes.
First out of the inning. And that brings up Natalia Miller. Miller reached on air her last time up.
That's been huge so far, as Columbia taking advantage of the opportunities they've been presented.
Takes a high strike, evens the count at 1-1.
And so it was interesting. The last time out, the second inning, after Crawford struggled a bit, she went on to struck out the last 3 of the order. She got a strikeout last batter. We'll see if she gets another.
Inside. Yeah, that's true, Max. She was able to regather herself inside the circle, trying to do that again here and keep this a 1-run game for the Falcons. The pitch. Fouled back and out of play. Columbia, they just have 1 hit in the inning, but they've scored twice. 2-2 the count. The pitch. Popped up on the infield. Becker camps under it and makes the catch for out number 2. Both runners hold at third and second.
Great throw that time by the second baseman, Marley Becker, to make sure we didn't see a run scored home by Anderson.
So that will bring up Honey Wilson. She struck out Swain her last time up back in the second. She takes inside for ball one.
Yeah, it looks like Crawford has really tried to work the inside of the strike zone here in the last inning or two.
She likes using the inside corner against the righties. In there for a strike, evens the count at 1-1. Anderson at third, Jacobs at second, Columbia already with 2 in. Wilson in the hole, 1-2.
Yeah, that's a tough pitch. I mean, you lay off, you think that might be just out of the zone. If you swing, it just feels like another pop-up.
Swain and a miss, and that will end the inning. Columbia, they scored twice in the inning. They lead 3-2 over the Falcons. Well, at the bottom of the third here on the Lorain County Sports Network on YouTube. Bottom of the third here at Douglas Field on the Lorain County Sports Network, live on YouTube. Jared Vinecourt joined alongside Max Drummond. 3-2 our score, Columbia leads. Lexi Schrader takes high for ball one at a leadoff single back in the first and came around to score.
And that really kind of opened this game up for them when they had the lead.
Schrader, a three-sport athlete, plays volleyball and basketball for the Firelands Falcons. We saw her earlier this year on the basketball court, along with her sister.
Yeah, she's had an outstanding athletic career, and specifically here in softball. Depending how many more games they can get, she's close to closing in on 100 career hits.
In there for a strike, and that'd be a huge accomplishment if Schrader could do that. Obviously, the weather has not been on her side this season, but hopefully she can get there with the playoff game and today's game, and she fouls that out of play.
Yes, with the single, like you said, it was a hustle single in the first inning. Got up to 94, so not out of the realm of possibility.
A payoff pitch. High for ball four. Falcons with their leadoff base runner to start the third.
Obviously, we've talked about Alina Jones' ability. The back half of the order definitely has struggled a bit more, so a lot of pressure here on the top half.
Songer check swing, fouls it back for strike one, and that's a good point, Max. This is how Firelands scored their 2 runs in the first. It was all the damage was done by the top of the order. The 0-1. High. Runner goes. The throw to second. Not in time. Schrader steals second, give her her first stolen base of the day, and she's in scoring position for Firelands.
She makes it to double digits now for time stolen this season.
The pitch. Fly ball, right field. Airhuth near the line. Drops it. Schrader heads to third, and she'll hold right there. First error of the day committed by Columbia, and now the inning is set up for the Firelands Falcons. Runners at the corners, nobody out.
With the way Schrader was moving towards third, it almost looked like a guarantee she was going to round and head towards home.
Avery Klein up to the plate as she fouls it third base side for strike one. Klein, we talked about her outstanding freshman season, had a 5-game hitting streak that was snapped last game against Keystone, but overall has had a fantastic season at the plate.
As we'll see a quick move over there to second, so now 2 runners in scoring position.
Songer takes second. Give her her first stolen base of the day. Now runners at third and second, nobody out. The pitch. Swing and a miss. 1-2 the count on Klein. Schrader at third, Songer at second. Swing and a miss. Alina Jones gets her first strikeout here in the third, a big one, and there's one down.
Yeah, she and the Raiders defense desperately needed that one to kickstart this inning and get a little momentum on their side.
Jeanette Crawford takes low for ball 1. She started the offensive party for the Falcons back in the first with an RBI single.
Yeah, with how effective she's been over her career, definitely not the worst idea there to see if you can get her to chase after a low pitch.
The 1-0 in there for a strike. Evens the count at 1-1. The pitch from Jones. In there for a strike, 1-2.
And the responses each inning we've seen from Jones has been real impressive. We'll see if she can finish off the at-bat here.
The 1-2. Swan on a miss for strike 3. The throw over to first in time. Schrader with that elite speed heads to home and scores. And we are tied at 3. Songer moves over to third.
And that's how we saw the at-bat start, low pitch and taking some speed off it. But right there, heads-up play from Schrader, the senior. And we get to see the speed on display once again.
So 2 down. Songer at third. Addison Beal up to the plate at an RBI ground out her last time up. The 0-1. Right back at Jones and fires over to first to end the inning. So both teams, after 3 innings, have both scored 3 runs. We're all squared at 3. We'll head to the 4th here on the Lorain County Sports Network. Fourth inning, we're all tied up at 3. Leading things off for Columbia is Bella Erhuth. And I believe someone is pinch hitting for Erhuth. I believe it's number 12, Addie Roberts, as she pops it up right to Crawford for out number 1. So I believe Addie Roberts was just at the plate for Columbia, and she's the first out of the inning.
Yeah, that's a good catch there as they each rank 12 and 13, numbers back-to-back of one another.
1 down, Ira Lavender shows bunt. And she went around, says the base umpire Chris Sito. 0-1 the count. Lavender struck out looking her last time up. Bunts it foul. Quickly in the hole, 0-2. And this is the type of inning, Max, where Jeanette Crawford needs to put up a 0 after her offense tied the game in the prior inning.
Yeah, really help her cause and get back into a good flow after 2 runs allowed last inning.
1-2 the count on Lavender, and she's the only lefty in the lineup, I believe, for Columbia, and trying to slap it down to third base. That's what all lefties like to do in softball, try to slap it down that left field line.
Yeah, we'll see if it affects Crawford at all here.
She fouls it back, and we'll redo it at 1-2. Ira Lavender plays volleyball and basketball for Columbia. Columbia, they actually just got a new head coach today, I believe, for the basketball team.
Yeah, that's right. On the boys' side, getting an assistant from Elyria to come down there, and he'll take over effective immediately.
The 2-2. Swung on and missed for strike 3. Quickly 2 gone here in the 4th. So we'll head back to the top of the order. Kenzie Shackleton up to the plate. Walked, stole a base, and came around to score back in the 3rd. Columbia, they almost batted around in that 3rd inning. Shackleton takes a slow pitch for strike 1.
Yeah, I almost wonder if the off-speed pitch there threw her off. Shackleton, as she's seen a lot of the fastballs out of Crawford.
The 0-1. Just a tad high. Evens the count at 1-1.
Yeah, like you alluded to, if she can keep this inning going, there'll be a couple of different Lady Raiders that'll get a chance to bat in back-to-back innings.
Swing and a miss. Shackleton went golfing there, and she's in the hole 1-2.
Taking a little time to reset there before this next pitch.
Foul back. These Columbia Raiders hitters, Max, they're putting up a good fight against Crawford here today.
Yeah, and it's really extended not only these at-bats, but maybe has led to some errors in the field, some mistakes out of it, so strong start.
Fly ball right field coming in is Beal, and she makes the catch to end the inning. So Columbia, for the first time today, go 1-2-3. We'll head to the bottom of the 4th. We're tied at 3. Bottom of the 4th, 3-3 our score. 6, 7, 8 due up for Firelands. Cummings, Slackson, and Becker due up for the Falcons. Cummings struck out swinging her first time up back in the 1st as she takes low for ball 1. Firelands, they scored 2 in the 1st and 1 in the 3rd. Swing and a miss. Columbia, they scored 1 in the 2nd and 2 in the 3rd, and that's where we stand as of right now. High, 2-1.
And as the game has gone on, we've seen a lot more of Jones not really messing around with batters, just attacking the strike zone with those fastballs.
The 2-1. Just a tad low, 3-1. And I think you're right, Max. Haven't really seen a lot of off-speed from Jones here today.
Yeah,
Mainly just fastballs.
Yeah, she's been able to get most of them past the Falcons.
In there for a strike, full count on Cummings. The 3-2. Foul back.
Yeah, 6 of the last 9 hitters that she's faced, the at-bats have ended in strikeouts, and right now Cummings looking to avoid having that happen to her again.
The pitch from Jones. Chopped foul, first base side. Jones, up to this point, has 6 strikeouts. Last time out against the Falcons, she had 11.
Wow.
Called strike 3.
Man.
Alina Jones with her 7th strikeout of the day. 1 down here in the 4th.
And as you may have been able to see on the on your screen, she did the way we didn't expect right there with the changeup.
The first one we've really seen from her today. Taking low for ball 1 is Kayla Aslaxon. She struck out swinging her last time out back in the 2nd. Shows bunt, pulls it back, called a ball. 1-1 the count on Aslaxon. Pulls it back again, 2-1.
Yeah, in a spot like this, I guess it may not be a surprise to try to see him get on base by way of bunting.
Small ball might be the key here for the Firelands Falcons here today if they want to defeat this tough Columbia team. As Aslaxon draws the walk, Falcons with a 1-out base runner.
Especially with this part of the order, right? You just got to do whatever you can to get them involved, get them in play out there.
Showing bunt and bunting it foul is Marley Becker. Struck out looking her last time up in the 2nd, and I think that's what we're going to see here in this inning, Max. If the Falcons want to take the lead, they're going to play some small ball here, try to get it back to the top of the order.
Yes, we'll see if they can manufacture some more help for those first couple hitters.
The 0-1. Becker shows bunt again and bunts it back foul. She's in the hole 0-2.
Well, and with your time around baseball and softball, the back-to-back, same kind of a bunt style led to it behind the plate. How do you think you kind of correct that here if you do it again?
I think you got to swing away here. I don't think you try to bunt again. As she takes strike 3, 2 down here in the 4th.
Yeah, as those strikeouts continue to stack up. I mean, we've seen some really impressive performances over the last week here with pitchers in the county.
Jones now with 8 Ks on the day. Lilac Keithley swings and misses for strike 1. She struck out swinging her last time up in the 2nd.
Yeah, I was looking around. Illyria's pitcher, they had one go for 20 strikeouts yesterday in their playoff game. Corinna Schuster from Amherst had 18 the other day.
Those are video game numbers. That is drilled into center field for a base hit. Stopping at 2nd is Aslaxon. It's a single for Keithley. And she keeps the inning alive for the Firelands Falcons.
And this is what we've been talking about here. Just do whatever you can to get back to this point. And now Lexi Schrader, a real ideal spot here for the Falcons.
Schrader, she's been on base both times today, has scored 2 out of the 3 runs for the Falcons. As she takes low for ball 1. Schrader with a single, a walk, and a stolen base here today for the Falcons. Just misses 2-0.
And she can afford to be real patient here and make Jones give her a pitch she wants and is happy with.
In there for a strike, 2-1. The 2-1. Smash to right field, but making the catch is Ira Lavender, and that will end the inning. So Firelands, they threaten, but they do not score. What of the 5th? We're all tied at 3. Fifth inning here at Douglas Field. We're all tied at 3. 2-3-4 due up for Columbia. Jeanette Crawford still out there for the Falcons inside the circle, and she's pitching a lot better this time against Columbia than the first time. The first time she pitched a third of an inning, and she gave up 4 runs. All 4 of those were earned on 3 hits and walked 1 and didn't strike out anybody. So she's doing a lot better here at home today against the Raiders, Max.
That she is, and it's after not an ideal start. There was a few mistakes that happened out in the field around her, and those are the kind of things you just got to move on from. They're out of your control, and she's done a really good job at that.
Lexi Miller for Columbia has been hit twice today as she has a swinging bunt down the third base line and it goes foul.
Yes, we got to see a bit of the waiting game right there, and it had just enough spin on it to head foul.
Lexi Miller, a little bit of a ball magnet. She got hit earlier before the rain came, and then as we continued the suspended game here today, got hit again. In there for a strike. And coming into today, Max, Lexi Miller has been hit 3 times. That's the most on this Columbia staff.
Yeah, I wonder if that counts the first one.
Drilled to center field, but right there to make the catch is Songer for out number 1.
And if you're a center fielder, you got to feel pretty good about where you're set up at. If the ball, you only got to take, 2 steps to go find it?
Grace Anderson up to the plate. An RBI infield single her last time up. As she hammers it high, deep to center field. Goodbye! Grace Anderson with a solo home run for the Columbia Raiders, and they retake the lead. It's 4-3.
As the Lady Raiders dugout heads to the plate to celebrate with her. And she's no stranger to the home run ball, Jared. As she's been able to do that in previous years, and continues that here this season.
Grace Anderson now ties her home run total from a season ago. Had 3 home runs last season. Now has 3 here this season. And that's just the spark that the Raiders needed, Max.
Yeah, and perfect timing. And as we were talking about, Crawford really seemed to be settling in. And right there, you're able to find a home run pitch.
Jessica Jacobs up to the plate. She's quickly in the hole 0-2. Reached on, we believe, what was a catcher's interference call her last time up and stole a base as well.
Yeah, that happened back in the 3rd inning, and that was involved with a couple of other errors throughout that inning.
Columbia, they took the lead in the 3rd, and now they have retaken the lead here in the 5th.
You know, for Crawford, she had done a pretty good job this year of limiting hittable pitches like that. As coming into today, only had allowed 2 home runs in the over 44 innings she pitched.
Right back to Crawford. And she'll throw out Jacobs for out number 2.
A play like that, it's a nice one to settle you back down because you get to be involved in manufacturing that next out, and that'll give you a little boost heading into, for if you're a Firelands Falcons fan, hopefully the last batter of the inning here.
Carly Arcuri up to the plate. Struck out Swain her last time up, 0-for-2 on the day. And the Falcons, they're playing a lot better all around against Columbia here today on their home turf compared to the first time around.
Yeah, we got a chance to be out at Columbia Park, and it's, you know, I don't know. It reminds me the dimensions, the setup. It reminds me a little bit of that. It's a little similar with the location of it.
The only difference, I believe, between Columbia Park and Douglas Field is Columbia Park is a little more spacious, a little more acres, surface area, whatever you want to call it, has more fields. But both places very nice for Columbia and Firelands, both of them trying to get softball fields near their high schools in the near future. Arcuri draws the 2-out walk, and that will bring up Natalia Miller. 0-1 the count on Miller.
Yeah, it's a tough break for Firelands, as we've seen a couple times here today when Columbia's been able to extend these innings. It's come back to haunt Firelands.
Natalia Miller 0 for 2 on the day, popped out her last time up back in the third. And I believe I got Miller in the box and officially called a foul ball by home plate umpire Kurt Hagerridge.
Yes, Kayla Slackson was ready to turn that and get the final out of the inning, and yeah, that's for Columbia, breathes a little more life here into the fifth.
The pitch, foul back. Interesting story about the home plate umpire, Kurt Hagerridge, Max. We talked with him earlier before the game. Actually went to Brookside High School, graduated in 1979, the same year, same class as my mom.
Oh, how about that? Yeah, small world. As he remains in the LC8 to this day.
Grounded to short. Schrader will go to first and throws her out to end the inning. So Columbia, they take the lead once again here in the fifth thanks to the solo home run by Grace Anderson. They lead 4-3. You're watching the Lorain County Sports Network live on YouTube. Bottom of the fifth, Columbia leads 4-3. 2-3-4 due up for the Firelands Falcons. Carly Songer will lead it off. Takes a high strike. Songer reached on an error her last time up. 1 for 2 on the day with a single.
And her at-bats all season have been impressive. As, you know, having a positive walk-to-strikeout ratio, she's at 7-4 this season.
Very impressive. Ripped back up the middle for a base hit. Songer with a leadoff single to start the fifth for the Falcons. Great piece of hitting, sitting back on that off-speed pitch, Max.
Yeah, it's like we've alluded to earlier in the game, there hasn't been a big sample size of that for these Lady Falcon hitters, so to adjust on it and launch it the way she did now sets them up for success here in the fifth.
Avery Klein up to the plate, struck out swinging her last time up. 0 for 2 on the day. Columbia has really shut down her offense production here today. And Klein, she's one of the best offensive hitters for the Falcons, but has come up empty here today.
Right, you read my mind. I mean, an over 500 hitter, leads the team in RBIs, or tied for lead, and has several extra base hits as well.
1-1 the count on Klein. Here's the pitch. Fouled in the box, and she's in the hole 1-2. Head coach Chad Parsons of the Firelands Falcons. He's actually the uncle of Ben Parsons, one of our camera operators. Chad Parsons went to Clearview High School, played football there as well for the Clippers.
Yeah, as we're finding connections to the Lorain County Sports Network all over the place today, but that also means a lot of people staying close to home after they're done with their playing days.
Lorain County, one of the greatest counties, if not the greatest county in the state of Ohio. There's 88 of them. Lorain County is right up there. Klein's out looking. One down here in the fifth.
Yeah, right. She'd seen a couple after the 1-2 start to the count there. The at bat, she saw a couple balls, didn't want to chase on that one, and Leah Jones ends up winning that battle.
Jeanette Crawford up to the plate, 1 for 2. Drilled. The second baseman Lavender with a nice backhand goes over to first for the second out of the inning. Songer moves over to second.
And man, able to reverse the glove like that and still have the wherewithal to get back up. I know it's not a far throw, but still the adjustment there really solid that time from Lavender.
Addison Beal up to the plate. 0 for 2 on the day with an RBI ground out. She fouls it back for strike one.
Yeah, and with how Jones has been pitching, especially to the later part of this order, you don't want to put too much pressure on this at bat, but this could be really crucial with a runner in scoring position.
The 0-1 popped up behind home plate and out of play. Oh, 2 the count on Beal. The pitch. Just a tad low. 1-2 the count on Beal.
We have seen her put it into play both times that she's been to the plate here today.
Drilled down the right field line, but goes foul. That right field line's been busy today, Max.
Yeah, that's right. Addie Roberts out there at the moment as we saw her pinch hit for Airmouth a couple innings ago, and would have taken a leap right there to try to get that one before it hit the ground.
The pitch from Jones. Swung on and missed. That will end the inning. Firelands, they threaten, but they do not score. Columbia, they lead 4-3. We'll head to the 6th here at Douglas Field. Sixth inning here at Douglas Field. Columbia leads 4-3. Bottom of the order due up for the Raiders. Hi, everybody. Jared Vinecourt joined alongside Max Drummond. Thank you for joining us here today on the Lorain County Sports Network on YouTube. A few more games to go to close out the high school season, baseball and softball.
Yes, we're looking real forward to some of the baseball games we have in mind for next week. Obviously, as we've learned, it's weather permitting, but we're hoping to see a certain state title game appear from last year in a big neutral site game next week. We'll have more details as the weekend draws closer.
Columbia, they started their playoff yesterday against Brookfield, won that game 4-2. Firelands, they play tomorrow against Cleveland Bard Early College.
And you know, with the amount of runs we've seen today and some of the production on offense for Columbia, it's a nice way to prepare for that Bard team that can score.
Honey Wilson chops it right in front of home plate. Crawford has to hurry, but not in time. Leadoff infield bunt single for Honey Wilson to start the 6th.
That's a good boost there for Wilson as she's able to get on base for the first time today, and that'll be a part of the base pass.
Addie Roberts up to the plate, took over for Bella Airhuth back in the 4th. 0 for 1 on the day as that goes to the backstop. Moving to second is Wilson. So season scoring position early for the Raiders.
Yeah, we've seen Lila Keithley have to work all around behind the plate there, and that one just getting away from her.
High 2-0. And both catchers have actually been pretty good behind the plate here today, blocking balls in the dirt. Swing and a miss. Another example right there, Keithley.
Yeah. It also gives you a lot of confidence if you're the pitcher because you know you can take chances on pitches like that and see if you get the batter to go for it.
A 2-1. In there for a strike. Evens the count at 2-2.
You may have been able to pick it up there on our crowd mic. Coach Lavender for Columbia, he said that you got to go battle now. You got to find a way to stay alive here.
No 2-2. Just a tad high, 3-2. Columbia, they retook the lead in the 5th thanks to a solo home run by Grace Anderson. That's where we stand as of right now. On the ground to second. Becker will go to first, throws her out. Moving over to third is Wilson, and there is one down. And it actually looks like a pinch runner or a pinch hitter was taken for Honey Wilson. That's actually Evelyn Tucker on third base for Columbia. So Evelyn Tucker is on third base for Wilson right now. Unfortunately, when you do games like this on the foul lines, they don't give you the changes, so you kind of just have to point them out as you go.
Yep. If they were meant to be on base, they'll work their way around to us eventually, and she definitely was.
Fouling it back is Brooke Miller. She is pinch hitting for Ira Lavender.
You know, and I just realized this. We talked earlier in the game how the sun, it's not really affecting too many of the outfielders because they're facing away. The catcher, she has sunglasses on because she, out of necessity, Jared.
I got sunglasses on too. The sun is right in our eyes here in the third base foul line.
So we talk about all those impressive stops and the way they're playing behind the plate. That factor in the sun shining as well.
Drilled to right center field. It gets down for a base hit. Coming in to score is Evelyn Tucker. It's 5-3 Columbia.
That'll be a huge insurance run. I know Alina Jones is probably over there, the first one. Want to give a high five to Lavender after that hit.
So back to the top of the order. As Max stated, a huge insurance run for Columbia. As heading to second is Miller. She's in there easily with a stolen base, and she's in scoring position. Kenzie Shackleton flew out her last time up. 0 for 2 on the day. Takes a strike.
As we've seen the infield taking a few steps in here, starting against that runner possibly going to third.
Swing and a miss. And that was a crucial base running mistake by Brooke Miller. The ball went away from Lila Keithley, and Miller remained at second. She didn't move over to third. Chop foul, third base side. And the run game, Max, it's a form of art. You know, it's really changed over the years. And I want to get your thoughts. What do you think when you're on the base passes when you played back in your day?
Well, I think it definitely wasn't as as aggressive, especially the second to third movement we've seen.
Chop foul, third base side. Yeah, I think you're right. A lot of more kids are stealing from second to third, even college kids now. We see with the Guardians.
Yeah,
they're doing it too.
And it's a real nice weapon to have in your back pocket if you maybe don't hit for as much power throughout your lineup.
I mean, I watched it yesterday. I saw the Guardians. They won 4-2. They got some insurance runs because they stole bases. Columbia is doing that now.
Yeah, and you just
here against the Falcons.
Find them wherever you can get them, and a lot of it comes down to that effort.
Shackleton's out looking. 2 down here in the 6th. Taking a slow hook for ball 1 is Lexi Miller.
Yeah, she's typically very patient with her at-bats. We'll see if that's still the case here now with 2 outs.
Miller, she's been hit twice today. Flew out back in the 5th. The pitch from Crawford. In there for a strike. Brooke Miller at second, thanks to her RBI single to extend the Columbia's lead 5-3. Foul back, out of play.
And we know why. Obviously, this is a huge pressure point situation with the runner on second, but also with who's in the batter's box. Who's on deck, and Grace Anderson.
Yeah, she had a home run her last time up. Drilled foul. And that almost got a fan.
As the
near
dog
the first base line.
The dog over there moved faster than either of the fans did. That's paying attention to the sound of the bat right there.
And I'm surprised the dog didn't chase it, to be honest.
True, very true.
Just a tad inside. Crawford trying to get out of the inning. Columbia already with 1 in here in the 6th. The pitch. Ripped to center field and off the glove of Songer. Another run will score, and into second is Lexi Miller. 6-3 Raiders.
Great job by Lavender, not hesitating. And obviously with Coach Lavender at third here, I'm pretty sure she knew she couldn't afford to be late to get going there at the sound of the bat.
In the air to center, and it drops for a base hit. Coming in to score is Lexi Miller. It's an RBI single for Grace Anderson. She's caught in a pickle at first, and she's thrown out at first to end the inning. The run will count. Columbia, they score 3 times here in the 6th. And they lead 7-3. Our score. Columbia leads. And Columbia, they have scored in the last 2 innings. They just scored 3 in the top half, and then they scored 1 in the 5th. They lead 7-3 over the Firelands Falcons. Firelands, they haven't scored since the third inning. And they're looking to get back on track to try to come back into this one.
Yeah, Lena Jones has really started to figure out this Falcons batting order here, and we'll see if it can continue on for the Lady Raiders pitcher.
Really is settling inside the circle. Chopping it foul first base side for the Firelands Falcons is Addison Cummings. Cummings struck out looking her last time up, as striking out both times here today. Alina Jones dominant once again inside the circle, has 10 Ks. She had 11 last time against the Falcons, and she's looking to equal that total here today. The 0-2, just a tad low, 1-2.
Yeah, it's also worth mentioning the job Lexi Miller is doing behind the plate with her.
Called strike three. There's K number 11. One down here in the sixth.
Yeah, we'll have to try to check in on Max Preps maybe and see if she's heading towards a career high, because there's still a whole other inning to go after she gets done working here.
Swinging and missing for strike one is Kayla Slackson. Walked her last time up. Slackson quickly in the hole, 0-2.
Well, and she was the one that was able to kind of figure things out in the third inning for those last 3 or 4 hitters of the order and get on base. So we'll see if she can do that again.
Just misses the zone, 1-2. Just a tad low. Evens the count at 2-2.
Yeah, but Jones, these at-bats, they're starting to take a little bit more consistency. Couple strikes, couple balls to field out.
On the ground is short. Shackleton has it and throws her out. Quickly 2 gone. So this season, Max, Alina Jones, the most strikeouts she's had in one game is 14. That was against Wellington. She also had 12 strikeouts yesterday against Brookfield. Bunting it down the first base line is Becker. She is thrown out, and that will end the inning. So Firelands, they go quickly and quietly here in the 6th, well, the 7th, here at Douglas Field, 7-3 Columbia. Seventh inning, 7-3 our score. Columbia out in front against the Firelands Falcons. Due up for Columbia, 4-5-6. Jessica Jacobs at the plate for the Raiders. 0 for 2 on the day, ground out her last time up. In there for a strike. Evens the count at 1-1.
Yeah, Crawford's still out there working, so we weren't sure how much we'd how deep we'd see her go in the game.
Right back to Crawford. She goes to first, and that's the first out of the inning. Yeah, we thought we were going to see Avery Klein, Max, but I think head coach Chad Parsons wants to save Klein for the playoff game tomorrow.
And that's a good point there. Is that'll be a really solid lineup they'll be going against, so keep Klein as fresh as you can.
Taking low for ball one is Carly Arcuri. Arcuri walked her last time up.
Yeah, and with that playoff game tomorrow, there's definitely some things.
Right back to Crawford again, and she'll fire over to first. 2 putouts, both by Crawford. Quickly 2 gone here in the 7th.
Yeah, she's done a really good job just getting them to hit some grounders here after the Anderson home run. A lot of the damage has basically been done just with the ball getting past the infield on the ground. But yeah, there's definitely, even if they come up short today, there's a lot of positives to take forward into tomorrow's first-round playoff game.
Ripped back up the middle for a base hit. Natalia Miller with her first hit of the day. And Columbia has a 2-out base runner. Yeah, it should be interesting to see tomorrow how Firelands shapes up, you know, having not played a game before today in a week. So trying to get back into their stepping stones here towards the end of the season. That ball goes to the backstop. Miller will head to second.
Well, I think the good thing about that is getting back to it today. There's a few things that are very that can be replicated. There's a few things for them, like Lexi Schrader in the leadoff position. She may be the best leadoff hitter we've seen all season, baseball or softball.
Miller heads to third. Two and 0 the count on Evelyn Tucker. She had a single her last time up. Came around to score. Low and outside, 3-0. Yeah, we'll be watching every Lorain County school for softball and baseball to see how they do in the playoffs this season. Looking forward to another exciting OHSAA tournament for baseball and softball. Obviously, you had Amherst making it to the state finals last year. You know, there's going to be a lot of high hopes for them.
Yeah, and that's a game we were able to air, not only the state title game, but the semifinal as well on WOBL, and we'll look to do that again if they make it to that point.
Tucker draws the walk, and Columbia has runners at the corners with 2 down, trying to add on to their 4-run lead.
And looking back on the game today, they've been able to do a lot of damage with 2 outs. You know, some teams, they add that extra pressure, and it just makes those bats get a little bit more active.
Addie Roberts takes the first pitch strike. Runner heading to second is Tucker. She's in there with an uncontested stolen base.
And just the smart move there, knowing with the runner at third, probably not going to see Heathley take that risk.
And it's underneath the glove of Marley Becker, and 2 more runs will come into score for Columbia. It's 9-3.
If I'm seeing that right, it's the second inning in a row for Lavender to drive in some runs here for the Raiders.
Lavender bunts it foul. Joe's bunt pulls it back. 1-1 the count. Columbia, they have scored in the last 3 innings, and now they lead big 9-3. Jeanette Crawford trying to finish it off, so Avery Klein doesn't have to pitch until tomorrow's playoff game. It'll be interesting to see how Columbia manages their practices for their playoff game on Monday, because they'll have some time off before next week, almost a full week.
That's right, a few days to prepare. And if I read correctly, I believe their opponent, Springfield, they beat Waterloo yesterday and don't have a game until that one on Monday.
Yeah, that was a very good game. That was an upset, too, for Springfield. And you got to remember, last year, Columbia, they lost in the Division VI regional final game, so they're looking to get back to that stage and then some. Lost last year to Dalton.
Yeah, that's another walk there, but It's a Columbia team that saw a lot of change, a couple new faces, especially in that batting order. I remember Heidecker last year. Obviously, that's a very familiar name for people from Columbia, but great power hitter for the Lady Raiders last season, obviously graduating.
Back to the top of the order, Kenzie Shackleton struck out looking her last time up. Addie Roberts at second, Ira Lavender at first. Columbia already with 2 in here in the 7th. They lead 9-3. Ripped to right center field for a base hit. It splits the gap. Coming in to score is Roberts. Lavender right behind her. She scores 2. Into third with a 2-run triple is Kenzie Shackleton.
Just when we thought, Crawford had been able to avoid too much damage from this Columbia lineup, Lady Raiders come alive with a couple outs on the board, and they continue to add to this result.
Chad Parsons heads inside the circle, and Jeanette Crawford's day is done. We got a timeout here at Douglas Field. A pitching change. We'll tell you who the new pitcher is right after this. Columbia out to the 11-3 lead. They have scored 4 times in the inning, and it forces Chad Parsons to bring in a new pitcher. Avery Klein will come out for Firelands to try to get the last out of the inning. Klein on the year making her 12th appearance, an ERA of 7.51. She will come inside the circle, and Jeanette Crawford will move over to first. Klein's first batter is Lexi Miller.
So we got some momentum built up from the last time she hit.
And at least the games I've done in softball, Max, don't really see a lot of southpaws for softball.
Yeah, good point. I missed that at first glance, and I can see why they want to have her in place tomorrow. I'm sure that'll be quite the change-up or curveball, if you will, for them.
In there for a strike. Lexi Miller, she reached on an error her last time up. Came around to score. Has scored 2 runs today. She draws the walk. And Columbia has runners at the corners with 2 down. And Grace Anderson will come to the plate once again. Has 3 hits on the day. As she sends that one to center, that will drop for a base hit. So Anderson now with her 4th hit of the day, 4 for 5, with an RBI single, her 3rd RBI single of the day. And now it's 12-3 Columbia. She doesn't waste any time in the box, does she, Max?
No, not at all. And I was going to say it's a real tough spot for Klein to be put into right there, having to face one batter, and then the very next one, Grace Anderson, with lots of runners on base.
That ball goes to the backstop. Both runners move up 90 feet. Lexi Miller now at 3rd. Anderson now at 2nd. Jessica Jacobs, who started the inning, up to the plate for Columbia. And Columbia, they started the inning, Max. Their first 2 hitters were retired, and since then, every hitter has reached for the Raiders.
That's right, back-to-back ground outs to start it. And that's why we thought we would see the game finished off by Crawford, but now we're obviously seeing it work its way out, and that speaks to this lineup top to bottom for Columbia.
Swing and a miss. The pitch. Fouled, out of play. Ooh, that got part of the tree.
Yeah, a lot of velocity off the bat there. Exit velo. Normally only mention that when it's going outwards. Right there, it goes up and shakes some leaves off the branches.
Swing and a miss. That will end the inning, but the damage has done. Columbia, they score 5 times in the inning, and they lead 12-3. 12-3, Columbia leads as we head to the bottom of the 7th here at Douglas Field. Columbia, they started off slow, Max, but in the later innings have poured it on offensively against the Falcons here today.
Yeah, they've done a real effective job staying just consistent with their approach and their at-bats. And it really what started that avalanche there later in the game was Grace Anderson's solo homer.
Lila Keithley will lead things off as she pops it out of play for strike 1. Keithley had a single her last time up. Firelands offense, they've been quiet since the 3rd inning. Haven't really done much since the 3rd inning as Keithley is quickly in the hole 0-2.
Well, what felt like a common theme across the last few innings, and we'd end it by saying this, they would threaten or they'd get at least 1 or 2 runners on, but they just weren't able to string together enough at-bats.
Just a tad high.
And as tough of a break that is, that also speaks to what Alina Jones is doing out there in the circle for Columbia.
11 strikeouts up to this point. Her career high is 14. She got that earlier this year against Wellington. And she's got 12 here today. She had 11 strikeouts last time against the Falcons. Here today, she's got 12.
And we're kind of talking about this off air. Unless extras were to happen, at best all she can do is tie it here, which is still a really great day.
Taking a strike is Lexi Schrader. Popped out her last time up. And I'm not sure what the record is in high school, Max, but in Division I softball, I believe it's 20 strikeouts is the record in one game. So it was done by, I don't remember her name, but it was a softball player from Monmouth, I think is the name of the college.
Okay.
20 strikeouts in one game. I think that's the record. Don't quote me on that, but I believe that's the record in Division I softball. And that's a strikeout literally every batter except for one.
I was going to say, I'd love to find out where it was, maybe the leadoff or maybe the last one of the game.
I think it was in 2019 it happened. Now, don't quote me on this, but if I remember correctly.
Well, I think we've got a number of softball pitchers here in the county. They reach into that territory in a few years. Certainly have the talent.
So it was actually 28 strikeouts.
Oh, my.
By a pitcher from the University of Southern California in 2006. As Schrader sends that ball in the air to right. 2 down. And that was by USC's pitcher, I believe I'm saying this right, Eileen Caney. I believe we're pronouncing that correctly. Thank you to our producer, Chris, for doing some quick research. If I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Yeah, that's
They must have gone to extra innings.
Wow.
They must have gone to extra innings. That's the only explanation.
That's a fun game to watch right there, especially if you like a pitcher's duel.
Carly Songer, the last hope for the Firelands Falcons. She's 2 for 3 on the day, has 2 singles. Ripped and over the head of the first baseman, Arcuri, but it goes foul.
Yeah, and obviously helping us out with that factoid there, Chris, but also running the show, getting the stream on air and all the great graphics you're seeing. So big thank you to him as well as our man on the camera, John G.
Johnny G.
Unsung hero.
The pitch. Called strike 3, and that will end the ball game. Columbia, they get the victory over the Firelands Falcons to close out the LCA regular season 12-3. Elena Jones, another complete game under her belt. She finishes the day today with 13 strikeouts against the Firelands Falcons. With the win for Columbia, they move to 13-6 on the year, 8-2 in the LC8. As for the Firelands Falcons, they move to 4-12 on the year and 3-7 in the LC8s. And our Lane Optical Player of the Game is going to go to no other than Grace Anderson. She went 4 for 5 with 4 RBIs and a home run. Max, she and this Columbia squad played amazing today.
Yeah, they're peaking at the right time, right? You know, it's ideal with the playoffs starting yesterday. And you wonder what that leads to, whether it's the effort or the way you approach the next game, because it's not for the conference championship or anything like that. And they came out and they treated it like another playoff game, honestly.
When we come back, we will have the Dovin and Reber Jones Funeral Home and Cremation Center post-game show where families come together. And remember, we will talk with Grace Anderson and head coach Jeff Lavender. It's all coming up next on the Lorain County Sports Network. Welcome into the Dovin and Reber Jones Funeral Home and Cremation Center post-game show where families come together. And remember, Columbia, they just got the victory over the Firelands Falcons, 12-3. Hi, everybody. Jared Vinecourt joined alongside Grace Anderson. Grace, you had a fantastic game. Went 4 for 5, 4 RBIs, and a home run.
Thank you.
What was working for you so well in the box today?
Well, she's like a drop ball pitcher, so I was thinking about getting my hands and like seeing the middle of the ball, so I would be able to hit line drives and potentially hit one out.
You have 3 home runs this season. It equals your total from last year. What brings that power in you from the box?
I'd say I've been working a lot on lifting, especially like working out, making me stronger and doing movements that produce to hitting.
Is there one exercise that relates to softball that you enjoy more than others?
I like doing a lot of core, like rotation strength, because that really helps fire my hips to hit the ball hard.
How do you build off of this win here today as you move into the playoffs next week against Springfield?
To just keep the momentum, to work as a team and continue to play our game, because when we play our game, we come out strong and we hit the ball hard, and we just continue to play as a team.
Well, congratulations, Grace Anderson, earning our Lane Optical Player of the Game. This is for you. We'll have you sign that bat.
Okay.
Max Drummond, our color commentator. Here you are. Congratulations to Grace Anderson. Thank you so much. Keep that bat. We'll get a picture with you with it.
Thank you.
And now let's bring the head coach, Jeff Lavender. Coach, thanks for joining us. Great victory here today for your Columbia Raiders. We talked about it before first pitch here today. A game that you wanted to play to get some reps after the playoff game yesterday. What was working so well for your squad here today?
This was a makeup game off of a suspended game coming in. So with our big win last night, we needed to get – I wanted to get at least another game in before our next game on Monday. We hadn't played in a week prior to yesterday's game, so we needed some at-bats just to see some live pitching. It was kind of tough for the girls to get, after a big win last night, I knew there would be a little bit of a letdown coming into today, and it did take us a while to get going today. But I thought those last 3 innings, our bats did come alive, and we had some really good swings, and, we took the 3-3 game, built on it, and ended up winning by, 12-3, so that was good to see.
Alina Jones, she's been fantastic for you inside the circle all season long, the ace of your pitching staff. She struck out 13 Firelands Falcons here today. What has she done so well for you in her career at Columbia?
She's been huge for us this year. I say this every time I get interviewed. She picked up just some great experience last year in that tournament run. We went through a lot in a relief role last year, and she came through in some big pressure situations for us in the tournament, and I think that just gave her a lot of confidence coming into this year. And I told her at the beginning of the year, I expect 100 innings out of you this year, and I think she may have passed 100 innings with this game, and she's got over 100 strikeouts. She's just gaining a lot of confidence each and every time she goes on the mound.
Kenzie Shackleton, she is your leadoff hitter. She has great speed at the top of the lineup. She got a couple hits today. What did you see from her? What have you seen from her all season?
She's a gamer. I mean, she's our spark plug, and she loves the game of softball. She loves to compete, and she's a heck of an athlete. And she's, once she gets on the bases, she's our leading stolen base girl, and she's our leading runs girl, and she just gets us going. That's why she's at the top of the lineup. That she's doing her job.
You saw Grace Anderson earlier, earning our Lane Optical Player of the Game. She has a lot of power inside the batter's box. What have you seen from her this season, building off from last year? Grace
works really hard on her game. Not only does she get a lot of swings at our practices, but she works outside of practices. She goes in and gets those extra swings in the weekend, and she's harder on herself than anything. It was really, really good to see today her swing the bat. It's been a while since she's hit one over the fence since early in the year, so it was good to get one of those tonight, and just for her confidence level. I think that was huge for her.
You guys have your next playoff game on Monday against Springfield. What's the preparation going to look like for next Monday?
I don't know a whole lot about Springfield, other than the fact that they got to drive an hour and a half to us. Just looking at their stats on Max Preps, looks like they have an arsenal of pitchers. So who knows which of those pitchers are going to throw at us? They got like 5 girls with multiple innings. So we're going to have to see who they throw. It looks like they've got a few girls that can swing the bat as well. But we got a home game, and that was the goal going into the tournament. With our 8 seed, the goal was to get 2 home games, and I feel like if we play our game and we come out aggressive, swinging the bats like we did late in the game today, I think we got a good shot.
Well, Coach, good luck on the playoff game this Monday. Congratulations on the victory here today against the Firelands Falcons.
Hey, we appreciate you guys covering us. It's always fun for the girls to get a little media coverage, so I appreciate you guys.
Absolutely, Coach. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Head coach Jeff Lavender of the Columbia Raiders softball team giving us some time on the Dovin and Reber Jones Funeral Home and Cremation Center postgame show where families come together. And remember, I'm Jared Vinecourt. Once again, everybody, Columbia, they get the victory over the Firelands Falcons in the last LCA game of the season. 12-3 the final here at Douglas Field. I'm going to put back on my sunglasses because my eyes are burning with the sun. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in on the Lorain County Sports Network live on YouTube. Good luck to all the Lorain County teams in the playoff run, baseball or softball. And we'll see you next time on the Lorain County Sports Network.